Hello, hello, hello. Which mic is this? Hello, 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 hello. I don't know. Look at his hair. Look at this. Look at this. Beautiful. You just what happened. Okay. Hmm.
Gaza's hospitals have been attacked, communities destroyed, and our loved ones injured. This is why we remain.
We are medical aid for Palestinians and we remain in Gaza to save lives. But we can't do this without your urgent help.
Please donate now for surgical supplies and treatment to help babies survive. Please help us save lives. Donate now.
We are missionaries for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. We invite you to come to church with us this Sunday. We know that as you make the sacrifice.
I don't think we've ever done a more difficult and heartbreaking project. For the first time ever, it truly was a matter of life and death. This is Dr. Shigu, founder of Hospitals for Humanity and the Saving Little Hearts program. They are on a mission to provide life-saving surgeries to children in Nigeria who suffer from heart disease.
All these children just need so much help, and Hospitals for Humanity is doing their best to provide that. They can only do so much with the resources they have.
Once we heard about the work Dr. Shegun and his team at Hospitals for Humanity were doing, my friends Tash and Kirsten from Beast Philanthropy flew to Nigeria to see how we could help. The team drove to Dimed Hospital in Lagos to meet with Dr. Shegun, who then introduced them to all of the children awaiting their surgeries. Some of these children waiting may never receive the procedures they desperately need.
Unfortunately, there's always going to be a percentage of children on our list that will not get the surgery. We know that going in.
Due to widespread poverty across Nigeria, many hospitals lack the necessary equipment they need in order to treat life-threatening medical conditions. One of those conditions being congenital heart disease, a group of heart defects present at birth that affect the heart structure and blood vessels. If left untreated, these conditions can cause some serious complications later in life and sometimes lead to death. It is the most common birth defect, affecting 1 in every 100 children worldwide. So with the help of our partners from outside the box capital, we decided to help Dr. Shegun and Hospitals for Humanity save 100 children's hearts, which include conducting open heart surgeries, device closures, cardiac catheterizations, and screenings for CHD.
Without the proper care, they can wake up the next day. We've heard stories from doctors where they call the families to say we can bring them in today and they have passed away the night before. So hearing about these stories about people are losing their children and it happens so quickly and without the services that Hospital for Humanity provides some of these families will never see their children grow.
It really is a matter of life and death.
Is a very peculiar case who came to us in 2019 at one of our screening programs, and we knew that we had to do something immediately for him because the situation was dire. So the first part of his surgery back in 2019, and since then he has been thriving.
Despite Amy God's successful surgery back in 2019, he's still at risk and needs one more surgery to complete his treatment. Having these heart conditions forces the children to face everyday challenges, but they are not the only ones whose lives are affected.
I'm the mother of a newborn. Most at times it was not easy because his condition was so bad. I never knew what to do. These heart conditions affect more than just the child. You've got these mothers who are having to give 24-hour care to these sick children and are facing so much strain.
Because of these parents' love for their children, they will go to great lengths to try and give them a better life. Like this mother and father who drove 9 hours to reach Diamond Hospital so their son Giovanni could undergo the surgery he desperately needed.
Giovanni having this surgery done really wanted to give us parental opportunities.
To many of these patients, these surgeries give them a new opportunity and make such a positive impact in their lives and the lives of their families. To see the lasting effect these operations have, Tash and Kirsten visited Treasure, who underwent heart surgery as part of the Hospitals for Humanity program back in 2016. Before his operation, Treasure was constantly weak and fatigued. He was often in the hospital, and the state of his condition was not improving at all. His mother had to work multiple jobs in order to pay his medical bills, with almost nothing left over each time. But after meeting Dr. Shagun and undergoing his heart procedure under the care of the Hospitals for Humanity program, Treasure's health drastically improved. Before he knew it, he was back at school and was even healthy enough to play soccer with his friends. Currently, Treasure is focusing on his education and wants to go to college to get a degree, while his mother is pursuing her career as an entrepreneur, even owning her own business.
We are ready to take every task, every challenge, every target, every goal to the next level. We have the opportunity now. We have life.
Back at Diamond Hospital, a 13-year-old boy is brought into the operating room for his open heart surgery. His name is Marvelous.
The child we are operating on today, he has a congenital heart defect. That means he has a hole in his heart and the blood flow to his lungs is narrowed. My name is
I
Mrs.
understand
Rose.
that heart
Marvelous
condition
is the only son that I have. I'm happy the need
I just get hurt now.
The daddy too will say, no, mommy, I'll be okay. Don't worry.
As the operation is conducted, Marvelous's mother nervously waits for him to return, praying for a successful operation in hopes of a new life for her and her son. After some time, Marvelous's operation was completed, but something wasn't right, and he was rushed to the intensive care unit.
So this morning when we met the doctors there, she said that his operation ended up being a lot more complicated than expected, and they were actually quite concerned that he wouldn't make it.
Swappy is Europe's largest iPhone refurbisher, where every iPhone performs like new. It's good for your wallet and the environment. Visit swappy.com today.
Uh-oh! The police! Police! They're trying to kill me. They always do that when accidents do that.
and you could just see how speedy his recovery had been and how quickly he bounced back.
Despite the concerns of his condition after the procedure was completed, Harmless made a healthy recovery and the surgery was a success. After some time in the hospital, he will be able to live a better life as his lungs now receive the required oxygen needed in order for his heart to function properly.
God bless you. I really appreciate everything that Sophie has done. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful.
Unfortunately for Abel God and his mother, him receiving his operation isn't going to be as easy as they thought.
We were hoping that we would be able to complete the surgery this morning. Unfortunately, we weren't able to.
What doctor is to try to the country so that the better way that he will see it.
To is something with God where his surgery is so complicated that they have to refer him to the hospital and not to provide us. So to need more funding to be able to get him the care that he needs.
As mentioned earlier in this video, many of these patients would not have required heart surgery if not for preventable conditions like untreated strep throat. Long-term group-based strep infections can lead to rheumatic heart disease, which causes up to 350,000 deaths annually. Which is why Light AI has developed an incredible AI-based technology that simplifies the diagnosis of group-based strep, making it more accessible and easier to diagnose these life-threatening complications that can be prevented with something as simple as a course of antibiotics. This innovation can save countless lives while costing only a fraction what it takes to manage the untreated cases. Light AI's test allows for rapid diagnosis via smartphone using AI and, when needed, configures swift treatment. Imagine how many lives we can save using just a phone. Click the link in the description to learn more about this groundbreaking technology and support the Light AI and Mr. Beast initiative by donating tests to help combat heart disease. So with the help of more sponsors and your donations, Hospitals for Humanity will be able to continue saving Africa's little hearts. I also want to say thank you to all of you for watching our videos, because without you, these philanthropy wouldn't be able to help such groundbreaking organizations such as Hospitals for Humanity. As I've mentioned before, every cent we make from these videos goes into funding future projects. So truly, genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for helping us do such amazing work all around the world. I also have a message for our little friend Marvin.
After having this surgery, and then after that, I can go back to school, I can play with my friends, I can do what I want to do. I will have the strength to do it.
To donate money directly to Hospitals for Humanity, click the link in the description. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.
Check it out. Oh, it was so cold I was beating my balls. And just was coming with the big balls.
This is Startup, Neil deGrasse Tyson, your personal national physicist. Got check nice routine. Yes, sir. What's up, man? All right, we're doing cosmic queries today. Yes, it is. But beyond category. Cosmic crab bag. Galactic gumbo. Is gumbo really just trash that was left over when it was invented? Not when Yvonne Gagne makes it. I told you I'm going to get you some Yvonne Gagne gumbo. Let me tell you now. Hey, boy, I tell you, I'm going to tell you when I'm getting it, I'm going to call dad in there, boy. Put myself a little there, and then we'll chill. And what's up there, room tea. All I heard was damn. So this is just, so why aren't we sorting them anymore? They're just random?
No, because they sometimes they come in such a way that,
Okay, all right.
that's how they just come in and they make, they're good questions.
Let's
just throw
do
them
it.
all together and let's do
I'll
it.
answer what I can.
There you go. All right, this is Jiraj Melansky. And Jiraj says, is it theoretically possible to develop a space drive that would have constant acceleration, hence creating constant artificial gravity?
That's what rockets
Why
do.
can I not see?
Okay. But he means continuous, like we're going to Mars.
Yes.
And so you're burning the entire time that you're going.
If you do that, you'll get there very fast. Like, so this 9-month journey that we talk about going to Mars, 3 days to the moon, 9 months to Mars, you know what that is? That is aiming for where the object will be when you arrive.
Gotcha.
Fire your engines enough so you don't fall back to Earth.
Right.
Okay? And you need enough energy to cross over to where your destination's gravity exceeds the gravity of Earth.
Right. So it's basically like that planet, when it gets to that, it lassos you and then starts pulling you towards the planet.
It's like climbing to the top of a hill, and then you can just roll
And then
down.
roll down.
Okay? Right. So you're climbing out of the gravitational well of the Earth, and it's getting weaker and weaker and weaker. But as you're getting towards the other object, it's getting stronger and stronger and stronger.
Right.
There's a point where they balance, and if you cross over that point, just fall towards your destination.
Right.
Once you launched yourself with enough speed to get there, there's no engines firing.
Right.
And once you cross over, no engines fire. You just fall in.
Right.
You need your engines again to not crash.
Right.
Because you're accelerating all the way there by the action of the planet.
Right.
All right. To Mars, that's a minimum of 9 months. If instead you accelerated the whole time, then you still want to slow down. So you'll accelerate till you're like halfway there, then turn around, and then decelerate the rest of the time.
Captain, we're approaching the planet. Fire the retro rockets. You gotta fire the retro rockets.
Except this would be a sustained thing, and that way you would maintain a certain artificial gravity, because an acceleration of a rocket is an exact mimic being on a gravitational surface.
So the only sci-fi show I've ever seen that does, and I recognized it from you telling me exactly what you just said years ago, it's called The Expanse, and I've had so much respect for them because they show a ship headed towards a planet, and the engine you see first firing as it's moving towards the planet. So it's like the entire time that they're showing you, like, oh, they're headed to whatever planet, and then they show you, and it looks like the ship is going in reverse.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but exactly why you said, because they're firing the rockets to slow down to approach the planet. Correct. So cool.
But there's another interesting fact here. While you were firing rockets, there is a force operating on you that you will not be able to distinguish from an ordinary gravitational force. This was deduced by Albert Einstein in what's called the equivalence principle. The accelerating rocket is indistinguishable from you sitting on Earth with Earth's acceleration of gravity. The two accelerations are equal. There's no experiment you can perform other than looking out the window to know if you're in a rocket or sitting here on Earth in a box.
Right.
Okay. So now, what's that movie that had moon pirates?
That was called Ad Astra.
Ad Astra.
That was Ad Astra.
If you're going to use the phrase Ad Astra, you better get your stuff correct.
That's right.
Okay? Ad Astra means to the stars in Latin.
Right.
This is a deep phrase that we've been using in the space community forever.
Right.
And interestingly, it's on the state flag of Kansas.
For the tornado state, that makes sense. That makes sense for the tornado state. I was launched Ad Astra. Woo!
So they would show these rockets firing, and you go inside the ship, and they were weightless. No. There's this misconception that being in space
makes you weightless.
No.
Right.
No. If you are drifting in space, as our space missions do, they're sent in motion, and you're drifting towards the crossover point, and then you fall in. Oh, there you go. You're weightless that entire time. But as long as you have on rockets, you are not weightless at all.
Look at that.
Yeah.
So cool, man.
Yeah. So you could do it, but sorry. Getting back to the question.
Right.
You need filling stations along the way.
What?
If you're going to drive straight from New York to LA,
that's right.
How big must your gas tank be?
Well, that's good.
Okay, so we have gas stations along the way. So if you really want to accelerate to your destination through space, you need filling stations parked throughout the solar system, right? And you reload and keep going,
right?
But we're not there yet.
Or like in Star Wars, where they have the ship that is another ship. So there's one ship that gets you to hyperspace, but then when you come out of hyperspace, your ship leaves that ship, and then you can just ride normal.
Okay, so something else did all the heavy lifting. Yeah, okay.
Cool, man. Very, very cool, Jiraj. Thanks for the question. Here's Ryan.
Oh, and just while I'm there, when you're in orbit, you're freely falling towards Earth. There are no rockets keeping you in orbit.
You're just falling around the Earth.
Around the Earth, and so you're weightless there. It's not because there's no gravity in space. Right. We have it's a delusion. Not delusion. We've been misled to think.
Right.
Being in space is synonymous with being weightless.
No, it's the same as when you're on that, what's it called? The vomit?
Oh!
What's that thing?
Yeah. The airplane here. Yeah, it goes into a controlled, into a parabolic dive where you're falling towards Earth. For that short period, it's sort of orbiting Earth.
Right.
Did you take physics in high school?
They taught it in my school.
Sorry.
Yeah, those are two different questions.
One of the things you learn is that a projectile has a parabolic arc.
Right.
Okay? And there's a formula for parabola, and you can solve how far,
neglecting
air resistance, you can know how far a projectile will go.
First use of computers.
Yes, in fact, that was for the military.
For the military.
They want to know where
the bomb's going to fall. You got to be able to figure out the trajectory of mortar shells.
Turns out, it's not actually a parabola.
Oh, okay.
It's very close.
Right.
It's not a parabola. It is the segment of an orbit, an elliptical orbit.
Gotcha.
If the entire mass of the Earth were at its center.
That makes sense.
Okay.
That is so cool.
Yes, it's completely
That
cool.
is
so
so
you take
cool.
all the mass of the Earth, collapse it to a point in the center, and watch this go in orbit around
that point.
Around that point.
That's right. That is so cool.
So, but it doesn't succeed because Earth gets in the way.
Exactly.
But the forces controlling it is what's the mass of the Earth and what's its distance from the center of the Earth.
Right.
That's all that matters.
That's so
you
cool.
collapse all the mass there, and then you have it.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So, even when you're
at the space station, you're just falling around the Earth. Very cool, man. Here's Ryan A. Ryan A. says, "Hey Neil."
Is he witness protection there? Ryan A.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. He says, "Hey Neil, and maybe Chuck. Would you know something I don't know, Ryan?" He says, "Hey Neil, maybe Chuck. Ryan from Toronto here. My question might be obvious, but time dilation has been messing with my mind."
As it should. No one should be comfortable with time dilation. Okay.
Right? Yeah. Once, you said that a photon doesn't experience time. It's born and immediately is destroyed. If a photon from somewhere in the galaxy is born, and over time it redshifts as we know photons do, how can it both experience a redshift but also be destroyed immediately after creation? Thanks. Love the show.
That's a great question.
It really is.
I don't know that I have a good answer for that.
I do.
Because that's how it is.
Because that's how photons roll. Okay?
So what he's saying is, if the photon that's emitted is different from the photon that is detected or destroyed at the end of its path, then something happened to the photon. So if something happened to the photon has to be temporarily aware of that in some way.
Right. Wow, you asked that question better than he did.
I'm thinking that's what he means.
That makes sense.
Pretty sure. So we see this. The question is, what does the photon think happened? Now, since it's emitted at one wavelength and detected at another, I gotta think about that.
That's something.
Because the photon would have to say, I'm redshifting. But to even be able to say that, time elapsed, right?
Exactly.
He was something yesterday,
and tomorrow. Right.
Yep.
It's pretty wild.
No, I don't have a good answer. Oh, my answer is Janet.
Jana.
Friend of the show.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a cosmologist.
Somebody call Jana.
We got the hotline.
Where's the Jana hotline, please? We get Jana on the phone. We get Jana on the phone.
I have a red phone every day.
And is that for Jana or is that for? for somebody to put that mustache in the sky to call you.
Mustache. Emergency.
We have a cosmic emergency. Put the mustache in the sky.
You know, if this was 150 years ago, everyone would have a mustache, and then no one would be talking about my mustache.
That's true.
That's true. You know, everybody in the Civil War had a mustache.
And weird ones too, like with handlebars and all kinds of crap.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, that's a very good question, Ryan.
I'm sorry.
And who knows? Who knows what the answer is?
I have to ask the photon. I'll get back to him.
Learning the complexities of the universe and the intricacies of astrophysics is like learning a completely new language. Take it from me, I've had a front row seat to one of the greatest teachers of our generation, and there's still so much to learn, and I love it. You know, with any new language or subject you're looking to learn, you need a great teacher, and that's why we're thrilled to introduce today's sponsor, Babbel. One of the top language learning apps in the world, providing you with access to learn up to 14 new languages from the convenience of your phone. At just 10 minutes per lesson, Babbel makes it incredibly easy to get started on your new journey, no matter how busy your schedule might be. Now, Babbel lessons are created by over 650 real language experts, so you can learn practical, real-world conversations in no time at all. Now, I live in a heavily Spanish-speaking community, and I've taken it upon myself to learn Spanish so I can get a little closer to my neighbors. Plus, I really don't want them talking behind my back without me knowing. Now, whatever your reason is, you can try Babbel today, risk-free, with a complete money-back guarantee within your first 20 days. You'll get 60% off when you sign up. As Neil once said, there is no greater education than the one that is self-driven. So, let's get you started today on a path to learning something new with Babbel. All right, that's it. Let's get you back to the show. All right, this is Amar Shah. And Amar Shah says, greetings, Dr. Tyson, Lord Nice. This is Amar from Sydney, Australia. Is it possible mathematically that our universe is on the other side of a black hole? And could there be more universes on the other sides of black holes? I think, does he mean our galaxy? Because
I have a book on the shelf that goes to the mathematics of what's on the other side of a black hole.
Black hole. Right.
And if you fall in, your time slows down relative to what you just came from.
Right.
And you'll see the entire future history of the universe unfold.
Right.
As you go down and emerge, a whole other space-time opens up in front of you.
Gotcha.
The mathematics of general relativity gives you that.
Right.
No one has tested this. But general relativity works in all these other ways. And this is a prediction of something that has worked so well.
Mm-hmm.
It's intriguing. Certainly worthy at least sci-fi treatment before we get actual data. So the universe that has the most universes is the universe that has the most black holes.
Right. Now, is it a different universe, or is it a residual universe?
Call it what you will, but there's So by our operational definition, you're in another universe. And don't denigrate it by universe light or
Okay, I gotcha. I didn't mean to, PO the universe.
Don't tell it will happen.
Well, that's very cool. So mathematically, it does work out.
That's the mathematical
The horizon of the universe.
Oh, it's like a
has all the same properties as the event horizon.
Oh, so cool. So what we see is the edge of our universe that we can observe has all the same properties as the same mathematical properties as the event horizon.
So rather be living evidence
I want to
of
give
the universe inside a black hole.
Where's my drink now?
That's
Apparently, you didn't need one.
This is true. This is true. It was sufficiently fascinating enough that I did not need any assistance.
Correct.
And having my mind blown.
No assist.
Double access is like,
That's
cool.
cool. All right, this is
It just sounds
Eduardo
very, like,
Mancilla.
little.
Hello, this is Eduardo writing
But they
from
do
Mexico. What should I say? Hello, this is Eduardo writing from Mexico. Normally I would reserve that for our friend from Malta. He says,
you heard that dinosaur joke?
Oh, guys, relax.
So I was
Go
talking
back.
at public talk, and I
About
was
that
describing
other
the 65
all you
year
forget.
ago event
Let's
when
go.
the Earth got hit by an asteroid,
Everything you
and
forget.
we
I swear
found
to
where the crater
God.
is.
Swear to
It's
God.
off the tip of the Yucatan Peninsula. Okay. Of Mexico. And I thought it'd be cute and say,
We're not
Yucatan
trying to
Peninsula,
buy.
Mexico. But that's not what the dinosaurs called it.
What do you do? That's all you gotta do.
Someone in the audience, they called it Mexico.
Dude, what's wrong with you? Good job.
It's funny. I mean, clearly they spoke Spanish. Right. Exactly. And they would pronounce it correctly.
all right, so Eduardo says, I saw a video on strange matter, but I didn't quite understand what exactly that is. Could you maybe talk a little bit about what it is and how it forms? Strange matter.
Yeah, I'm not up on the very latest there, but there's actually good precedent for having this mysterious thing happen in our particle accelerators. And we say, we can't explain this. There must be some particle we haven't discovered yet, accounting for this inexplainable stuff.
What?
This behavior of the other particles, they're responding to something that we can't see and don't know how to figure out how to detect it yet.
Don't be a fucking arrow, man.
The idea of this particle doing that has enabled the discovery of multiple particles. Assume something's there. What would its properties be to cause all the confusion that it does?
Right.
Let's look for it. And we found it.
Give me your money.
The neutrino was one such particle. Look at that. All right. There was a reaction of particles, and at the end, the charge all worked out, but the momentum didn't add up. So we have a long conservation momentum.
Yo, Sean, what you doing, Sean?
All right. There's missing some momentum. There you go. All the same, we
Sean
can count all the particles.
Right.
And somebody said a particle must have taken away the momentum. I don't know where. We'll look for it. And we knew it didn't have a charge, so it's called little neutrino.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So there are things we cannot explain. Dark matter, energy. There are these phenomena in the universe where we are kind of. I want to see where you say. We don't know what it is. Okay. It's flowing anything. Okay. So it's a new kind of matter. Is it strange matter? Is it? And there's a whole catalog of names for these particles that are not yet discovered. And many of them are fanciful. Wow. It's a fun one.
So is that like missing spaces in the periodical chart?
Oh, very nice. Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Very nice analog.
All right.
Because that's complete now. It's right. On many things you can say, we got this. Move on to the next problem. Right. We got this.
Right. But there was a time where they had to leave a space. Like, hey, they know something gonna go there.
Right. And one of them was discovered, I forgot exactly when, but it was not discovered in nature. We had to make it.
Oh, right.
Okay. Do you know the word for when you make something?
Manufacturer.
Tech.
Oh.
Technology is
Right.
Get it from nature.
Right.
Okay? We forgot that because it applies to everything today. Tech. Okay. So it's called technician. Made that element. So all these hypothetical forms of matter, right? One of them has been named for a variety of
Okay.
that we know quarks. That's fanciful name. Okay. There's upward. Right.
Oh, headshot, baby.
Strange.
Good shit. Good shit. Good shit, man.
Quark. So quarks make up our nuclear particles. Right. Okay. So there's an up, down, top, bottom strange charmed. Okay. So the up, down.
Oh,
Quarks that make up protons and neutrons. Okay. They have heavier components Sportsman, or Strange, and Charmed. There's 3 levels of electrons as well, 3 different kinds of force carriers. So this is what we call the standard model. Yeah, we chatted about that with Brian Green. It's been hypothesized that
Let's go, Lumiere.
the strange quark, under certain conditions of pressure and temperature, would manifest and be the predominant particle in the object. Okay. So it'd be strange matter possibly making a strange star. Gotcha. Yeah, but don't overinterpret the word strange. It's just a word to describe a variety of quark. And you know where the word came from?
Bottle quark?
Cancel him, okay?
No, what are you talking about? I'm an advocate. Okay? I don't care what you're talking about. I'm an ally, so cancel me.
The word quark comes from James Joyce's Finnegan's Wake.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. How so?
Because we found that there were 3 quarks in the middle of the proton and neutron.
Right.
Okay.
Of
3.
course.
And there's some rhyme in Finnegan's Wake that says 3 quarks for Mr. It's Maury Gell-Mann, who's one of the original physicists to think about what the particles are in
the tiny stuff.
Tiny particles. He had that phrase in his head, and then he says 3 quarks for Mr. Mark. And so it was 3. Right. The number 3 is bad. Except there's more than 3. There's like, yeah. 2 varieties times 3. There's 6 kinds of quark. So the numbers in the end don't match up.
He didn't know.
He didn't know. He just started. He just began the investigation. Yeah, the word quark stayed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's do that.
All right.
Well, you can say, what does it look like?
I do.
That's true.
I mean, in my field, we see a nebula that looks like a tarantula. We call it the tarantula. We see another nebula that looks like North America. We call it the North American nebula.
So crazy.
If we see a quark, what are you going to say it looks like?
Well, there is nothing there.
It's not.
You can't. Right. Oh, that's cool.
Okay.
I take it back.
We do have that problem. If you ask me, how big is the universe?
Well, how big is the universe?
It's as big as. End of sentence.
There you go. Because how could you know?
Right. You can't.
It is the biggest. You can't
compare it.
Yeah, there's nothing to compare.
I can tell you how many feet will go across it, but that's
still doesn't make.
There's no reference.
Right.
Okay. Good. You ever wanted one of your questions on the universe?
Whoa!
We all have questions about the universe.
Viewership.
Black holes to quasars, entanglement, wormholes. There is no end. Depths of cosmic curiosity. Well, the entry level of Patreon membership with Star Talk gets you just that. I think it starts at $5 a month. You have access to the question line that reaches our Cosmic Query programming. And not only that, we produce a special Cosmic Queries installment just for Patreon members.
If you weren't the director of the Hayden Planetarium, what do you think you would be doing?
Right, it would have to be another universe. It wouldn't happen in this universe.
So it looks like live-action Luffy, better known as Inaki Godoy, is getting canceled on Twitter. And just when you think the unemployed have nothing better to do, their final boss shows up and enters his second phase. So Inaki recently did an ad for McDonald's, and somehow that's all it took for the brain-rotted Twitter users to have a field day and immediately do everything in their power to cancel him, saying ridiculous things like the real-life Luffy would never. Meanwhile, Oda literally drew a One Piece Shonen Jump cover of Luffy eating a Big Mac. But yeah, I'm the crazy one, and this is all stemming from the fact that people have decided to boycott McDonald's for their own political beliefs. But I'm sorry, I guarantee you half the people making all this noise online are still pulling up to a McDonald's drive-thru after partying on a Saturday night. Just kidding, we all know they don't touch grass. Like, personally, I don't think canceling Inaki over getting his bag is really the hill I'd be willing to die on. And just like a McDonald's Big Mac, this is a nothing burger. Just leave bro alone. And if you're still up in arms about all of this, just put the fries in the bag. With your luck, McDonald's is hiring. So it looks like live-action Luffy, better known as Inaki Godoy, is getting canceled on Twitter. And just when you think the unemployed have nothing better to do, their final boss shows up and enters his second phase. So Inaki recently